The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham fans and friends inspired by the work of other football food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for a Newham food bank in Beckton, who supplies sub-distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thanks for your support. Come on, you Irons.
Good morning and welcome to the West Ham Massive. Thanks for joining me. Please don't forget to drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you are new around here, and make sure you hit the bell icon and click all, and you'll be notified of any new content as and when it's uploaded to channels such as this. Please don't forget to put your comments in the section below. Really would be interested to hear your thoughts on the aftermath of last night's game, which took place at London Stadium. West Ham United 2 and Freiburg 0. So, yeah, I mean, look, it was a decent enough performance. We did the job we needed to do. We got a 2-0 win. Kudus and Alvarez with the goals. I think what it demonstrated in a large way was the fact that Alvarez, he's become so pivotal in what we want to try and do. His omission on Sunday, for the Fulham game at Craven Cottage, where we got absolutely humped 5-0. And he's come back in, he's made us look more solid, he's given us a little bit of an extra dimension in midfield, a little bit more solidity, and obviously he pops up with the second goal on the night, which pretty much effectively sealed the contest. If I'm being honest, although they went in on the back of their last two European games, 5-0, 5-0, as we discussed in the preview, I don't think they really showed too much to worry us. They probably showed the best version of themselves when we was already 2-0 up and the game was done, and by then we were sort of making substitutions. We were sort of slightly going a little bit, taking our foot off the pedal sort of thing, that sort of thing. So probably the fact that they started to come into the match at that point probably really wasn't a surprise, but I was really pleased with the performance of Alvarez. I thought he looked really good, looked sharp, looked strong, fit. And like I say, I think it just highlights, though, that we do have a squad that is quite thin in terms of quality. When you start getting past the first 11, 12, 13 players, we've got a problem. I think David Moyes needs to take some responsibility for that, because it's not like he's just walked in and that squad's not his. He's been in the building for a good couple of years now, a good few transfer windows that he's been able to move players on that he doesn't want, bring players in that he does. That's his squad pretty much effectively. And obviously there's players that he didn't sign, the likes of Ogbonna, the likes of Fabianski, the likes of Cresswell, the likes of Antonio. But he's had opportunities to move those players on if they weren't players that fitted into his style of play, into his vision of football. And they're still there. So although they're not players that he bought, they are his players by the fact that he's kept them on for that length of time. So the fact that we've got this squad that when you get past that sort of first 13 or so, you're starting to sort of scrape the bottom of the barrel, that is completely on David Moyes. But as far as the match was concerned, as I say, we started well. I thought we did what we needed to do. The Kudus goal, really, really good finish by him. He looked sharp last night again, I thought. Took his goal well. And then Alvarez, obviously, to finish it off. And as I say, we were in control. I wouldn't say we dominated, but once we were 2-0 up, we pretty much just kept them at arm's length. A bit like a boxer. They get to sort of 8 rounds in, they're totally dominating their opposition. They've won every round, and they don't really need to go hell for leather. So they just decide the last 4 rounds just to sort of keep the jab pumping out, keep them going, and that's effectively what we did. We got to a point in proceedings where we had them where we wanted them, we had them under control, and we just sort of kept them, we kept the boot applied to their throat, basically. So we end up with the top place in the Group A, which means that we obviously go through to the last 16. Now, obviously, we won't know our opposition until the playoff round, which Freiburg now drop into, and they will play a team that finished third in the Champions League. And as I said in the preview, that was something that obviously we needed to try and avoid, and we have. And that's great. So we obviously won't know who we're playing in the last 16 until that round of fixtures has been completed, which means that we're probably not going to get much notice as far as who our opposition is concerned, and I'm talking the away fixture, which actually helped me last season in the Conference League, because if you remember correctly, we played in the last 16, we played AEK Larnaca. Now, regrettably, I don't have enough priority points to go to a lot of the away games unless I get lucky through friends or the club ballot and things like that, but it actually helped me, that being that the previous round fixtures for the Europa Conference League playoff round came very sort of like shortly before the last 16, which meant that there wasn't much opportunity for people to sort out time off of work and this, that and the other. I was fortunate enough I was able to do that, and I actually went to the Larnaca fixture. I went to the match, and I was very fortunate. So it may well be that I can do the same this year. Because I know we obviously will know that because we top the group, we're going to play, whether it's an advantage or not, I don't know, but because you win the group, you get to play your home fixture as the second leg. So we will know that the first fixture therefore is going to be an away leg. So it might give me a little bit of an opportunity there to possibly go to that. I mean, who we end up playing, I mean, look, it could be any number of teams, and obviously we've got to have the playoff round before we'll really have an idea and we'll really be able to get our teeth into who we could be playing. I mean, at the minute there's so many different permutations, it's really not worth me going through it all, but I'm looking forward to it. We're in the last 16. It's the third year in a row that we've got out of the group, and we've topped the group at each occasion. Say what you want about David Moyes in terms of his style of football, and I've had a lot to say on that, but in terms of that particular achievement, you have to sort of take your hat off to him and say, 3 years, 3 European competitions, 3 group stages, and you've won them all. It's an achievement. It's an achievement. We've never qualified for Europe 3 seasons on the bounce. So the fact that we've managed to obviously have a semi-final the first time, a trophy win the second time, the third time we're now into the last 16, and who knows, possibly we could still go further than that. It depends, depends on the situation in March when that last 16 tie is played. It depends upon players' form, depends on fitness, all sorts of different things, good, bad or indifferent. Lots of things can happen, but last night's match, as I say, was a controlled performance, wasn't a dominant performance, wasn't a buccaneering, rip-roaring performance. We got the job done. We made sure that we got the point that we needed, which was the minimum. We actually got an extra 2 besides. So we've won the group and we move on to the next stage in European competition. But let me know your thoughts on the match. It'd be interesting to know. Maybe you see things differently. Maybe you think that the match panned out in a different fashion to how I believe it did. So you've got the comment section below. Let me know who your star players are as well. Who do you think the star player for West Ham was? Who was the man of the match in claret and blue? And is there any teams you want to get? You'd like to get in the last 16, or is there any teams you'd like to avoid in the last 16? Let me know your thoughts, as I say, comment section below. Thanks for joining me. As I say, please don't forget to drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new around here. Make sure you hit the notification bell, click all, and we'll see you again soon. Come on, you Irons.
The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham fans and friends inspired by the work of other football food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for a Newham food bank in Beckton, who supplies sub-distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thanks for your support. Come on, you Irons.